Welcome, everybody. Happy Friday. How are we? Oh, my goodness. It's been such a big week. I can't wait to chat with all of you and connect and let you know what I think we're going to do tonight for the live stream. So, if you're hi, am I? How are you? It's good to see you. I was thinking, actually, you came to mind today. Yeah, I know, again, a few of your requests always like, can we do Akashic Records readings? So I'm thinking about all those things. So I hope everybody is well and that thank you so much for coming to the live stream tonight. If you are new, please feel free to say hello in the chat. Again, my name is Carrie Koss, and on my channel, I actually am a medium, a mentor, and also I want to let you know I'm very excited to be welcoming new people because I have opened I know. I'll have to tell you about my whole thing with TikTok right now. There's a lot of controversy going on. I'll fill you in on it in a second, but it's good. It's good. The good kind of controversy, especially me. I'm not a controversial person. But so tonight, what we're going to be doing is I'm thinking tonight, I'm actually going to be doing looking at the energy of 2026. And I'm going to I've been doing a lot of year ahead readings right now, the energy of 2026 for my private clients. Just to let you know, though, those are still available. If you are interested in those, I have a limited number that I'm offering. So if you're interested in that, let me know. I also have I've looked at all my private reading menu and I have some nice, things available for people at different places that might, depending on what kind of reading you're wanting to get. But I did want to talk about that just a little bit. And also, very exciting news. I moved my community onto a new platform. Hi, how are you? It's good to see you. I have moved my spiritual community onto a new platform on the school app. Many people know that and are very familiar with it. And so it's going to be, I think, pretty fantastic because it's very user friendly. It's easy for people to navigate and use. And so make sure if you guys don't follow, hi, Em. If you guys haven't already joined my school community, please try and get yourselves on there. I have a lot of very exciting things that I have going on for 2026, and we're kind of putting things together. So I'm going to put that in the comments. So please be sure I'm pinning it here to join that's called the Sanctuary community. So I'm very excited about it. It's like I said, it's free to join. And hello, Elizabeth. Good to see you. So I'm really excited that we're doing this. So a couple of things I want to do is I definitely want to pull in a channeled message. I was thinking about that too. The format of how I'm doing these Friday nights, I think is going to grow and change and evolve as our community here on both on YouTube, but also in my membership as we grow and evolve and change and the needs of what you guys have change and evolve. Now on the bottom of the screen, I'm not going to offer this tonight because I'm a little bit tired. Christy, I'm a little bit tired tonight. It's been a very busy, excuse me, hang on. Thank you. Can you close that for me, hon? Thanks. I needed the tea tonight. So it's been a little busy for me this week. It's been amazing, but I'm doing a lot of things behind the scenes, which are going to be fantastic for all of you guys. So I'm a little less energized than I normally am for extra readings, but nevertheless, we are going to continue. We're going to be connected together. So I'm going to turn off the banner, I think, just for the moment. So hang on. Yes, we're going to take the banner. I'm not going to be doing paid live readings tonight, but please stay tuned because I do those regularly and I want people to feel like they have different price points that they can come to get a reading from me because readings for me are like the backbone of the work I do. So what we're going to do is, first of all, many of you guys know that I work with a lot of different goddesses and different benevolent deities, including archangels and things like that. It's one of the things I do as a channel and as a medium and have done that for a very long time. And I like to teach my students about that as well. And support them in bringing that into life. Hi, Michael. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. I'm so happy to see you guys. So make sure you're checking out. You guys are joining the new membership space. You're going to love it in there. It's going to be incredible. I'm so excited. It's an incredible platform, easy to use, a lot more opportunity to connect with other members. There's going to be a lot of things that we're going to do this year. It's like an improvement from last year. So, what I thought we could do tonight is kind of go back to our initial, I'm going to pull it up here, what we normally do on these live streams, which we haven't done in a little while. So, I'm kind of excited about it. So, if you're new, first of all, I'm so excited that you're here. And if you're new to me, again, thank you for being here. And if you've just even met me this week, I'm so excited to meet many of you. I had this beautiful experience, which I'll talk more about later. But when I've been starting to, okay, a couple things. I'll just fill you guys in on my TikTok journey. Oh, hello. Good to see you. Good to see you. Nice to see you. Yes. And love and light to you, the divine I am. It's always so good to see you. Thank you for your positivity. Always being such a light here in this community. And I really appreciate you. So couple things that are just updates, because people are saying, why aren't you on TikTok? And what's happening with TikTok? Okay, really quickly, let me tell you what's going on. So briefly, I've always want to invest my energy in places that I feel like I'm connecting like I do on YouTube. It's like I have a direct connection with my community. I can serve you. There's not a lot of interference and in the energy, and we can connect and have do the work we need to do together, right? And for either me as a teacher, a psychic, a healer, mentor. However, TikTok, and I'm sure many of you guys can understand why, because some of you have, I want to say, some of you guys have posts over there, or you have accounts. So if you're a content creator, you know it's basically, I'm just going to be honest with you, it's a shit show over there. Hi, Amber. How are you? So TikTok is a shit show, and it's even more than any other platform. There are AI bots going through every single live stream. It's just the way they set it up. I could go on. I could do a whole video series on TikTok. And so for a long time, it's how I met many of you, and it was fantastic. But then last January, it really started changing, and the energetics started changing a year ago. And I was like, something's funny. I'm not sure how this is going to go. So it just came to me at the end of December, like I just can't put my energy on there as much as I did, and I can't live stream as much as I did. So I really made a change. But then the most interesting thing that just happened to me, you guys, this is what I want to tell you, and then we'll get to the readings. The most interesting thing to happen to me is that they somehow took my account away from me, and it's temporary. I know it's almost kind of funny because my guides are like, "Yep, we told you so." Something to do. They kept trying to tell me I was having community violations, which was not happening right at all. They kept wanting me to verify my email address and verify my phone number. And it was from TikTok. I know I could verify that, but it kept happening. And I just thought, isn't this funny? My guides are literally saying, get off that app because it's interfering with your energy. I was like, duly noted. So I kid you not, as soon as I made that choice, the next day my account got shut down. It's not permanent, but it's there. And I just thought it was funny. Now, I have a second account on TikTok. Yeah, I have a second account on TikTok, and it's a very clean account. I only post readings on there, and I'm doing education on there. There's no other information. It's very in the algorithm's eyes, it's pure. It's in a good space, right? So it's still there, but I just think it's funny. And then I sort of diverted my energy and it's an energy vampire, 1,000%. What Michael just said is exactly right. That is TikTok in a nutshell. And this is why I'll be talking about this more in my own community, to be honest with me. To be honest with you, we'll talk about this more in my community about energetics and about nefarious energies and things that normally it's like people in sort of, like you say, love and light. It's not love and light over there. Okay, so let me just wrote what lovely Imani said. She said, another reader told me that she did a protection spell and all her bot followers disappeared, and she no longer has anyone telling her someone is reaching out to her. That's a very good point. And so one of the things that I'm finding there is that That's a good point too. Because all my guides go up. I never feel bad. It's mainly I feel like I can't get through the way they set it up. In the way they make you have to play. It's like a video game there. They make you play, you have to do all these things in order to even be seen by people on the algorithm. It's there's so much to it. I could literally write a dissertation on it. It's cray cray. So I was already wanting to get off there. So I moved my energy into other areas. Hello, Amy. Welcome. So anyway, that's what we're doing. So this is why I'm in, but I want to invest my energy into YouTube. I love Threads now. I'm always on Instagram, but I'm just there because it's just good to have it as like a placeholder, and then into my community. And it's been a great week because of that. Okay. So with that in mind, I kind of want to let you guys know, what are we doing tonight? Let's talk about it. It's like living in a simulation or a stimulate. It absolutely is. That's what I'm talking about. Oh my gosh. I know so let's get some of these comments that we're seeing. See, it's like living with a simulation or yes, exactly. And then understand, I've been wanting to hear some people, especially spiritual community. Yes. And it's there. And here's the thing. We have to talk about energetics. Now, it's not something I've always gone into with, like, I'm a very active person when it comes to, social issues. I know we love the school community, and I'm very active in that way. But I think now, especially since the way we have it with our government and what we have, that it's owned by Oracle, and I won't be able to give you too much information, but I know someone who, I'm from the Bay Area, which is where the headquarters in the US is. And I've heard very terrible stories about TikTok. So there you go. There you have it. So let's get to it. Let me talk to you guys about what we're doing tonight. And I'm so glad so many of you are here. It makes me so excited. The first thing is I want everyone to feel comfortable, like they can ask me questions. Now, we're not doing readings on people tonight per se, although we might channel a loved one at the end. We'll see how we go. That's okay, Michael. Don't worry about it. But we're going to do some of these readings tonight. So if you guys have questions about that, please let me know. Hey, Chastity, if you guys have questions about how those go, let me know. Okay. So most of you guys know that I work with goddesses, archangels, and different deities, benevolent deities. So usually in a lot of my live streams, the first thing I do is I channel information from them. And you can see it right on there. It says channel message from the goddesses. Then we do an Akashic Records message, an ancestor, and then the zodiac. So we're going to do the channel message from the goddess, but then I'm going to do a year ahead reading of the energy. So you guys definitely, if you're not able to stay like the entire time and you have to bop out, I want you guys to feel free to, I'll timestamp everything, and then we will move forward. Okay. You guys can come back and watch it if you have to dip out. Also, notably, those that are able to stay for the whole reading, I will pick one person, and it will be spirit led. I'm going to do this for as long as I can. When we start having like more than 50 who come to the live stream, which I'm so excited about, then we'll probably have to think of a different method. We'll probably have to like have everybody, I'll have to put my name into you guys have to put your name into a raffle or something, but we have 15. So whoever stays, I really see who's active in the chat and who stays till the end, someone's going to get a free reading, which is a free question. Okay. So I'm going to tap in. Everybody ready? Drum roll, please. I'm going to tap in and see which goddess is coming forward and what her message is. And if you guys don't know, I do a couple different types of channeling here on the channel. I often do what's known as conscious channeling, and that is where I connect with the spirit, the deity, the goddess, the angel. I bring through the message, and it's more transmitted telepathically, and then I tell you what it is. But often I do trance mediumship because I am a trance medium, which is that I bring them through my energy field. Now, I don't know sometimes if I'm going to do that or not until the moment I'm about to do it. But I just wanted to let you guys know about that. Okay. Now, you guys know I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to details. So if any of the goddesses come through, I have some amazing decks and also some books that help to sort of expand on their information connected to them. Okay. So let's get ready and see who's coming forward. Okay. So I'll be with you guys in just a second. Thanks for being here again too. Make sure you guys also put a thumbs up for this live stream because you can see it when you're on the YouTube platform. Make sure you put a thumbs up, and you're already, obviously everyone's chatting, which I love, and then make sure you're commenting and stuff. Okay, I'll be right there. Okay, this is a very interesting energy that I'm getting. So a lot of you guys know I do work with a lot of the Celtic goddesses. Um, they come forth quite often for me, and it both Scottish, Welsh, and also Irish. So, and I think because this is part of my heritage, it's not my entire heritage, but it's part of my heritage. Now, this is what I want to say. I do feel like Bridget is coming through. I know. I know they're so beautiful. I do feel like Bridget is coming through, and this does make sense because if you guys know the Irish goddess Bridget, she's definitely connected in with Imbolc and spring. Okay. You just did a writing on Bridget. Oh my God, that's perfect timing. So she's connected with Imbolc and spring. So she often comes in the very beginning of February. And in fact, in my Goddess Rising membership, which is now turning in, it's going to be in connected into the sanctuary membership. So the information will all still be there. Okay. And we'll talk about that in a second, but she's coming forward. But I also want to say, I do feel like the Morgan is also here as well. Although, I don't feel the Morgan directly. I feel her presence around. So let's just see what the message is from Bridget. And if you are wanting to know more about Bridget, we can talk about that in a second. But she's definitely, I would say, the goddess who brings upon spring when the light comes back. So we want to just notice that energy. If you see that around you, she definitely helps to uplift your spirit. She's in the maiden form. So she has to do with regeneration, recovery, rest, but then reigniting yourself and new beginnings. And it does make sense to me why she's here today. And this has to do with the fact that many of you are completing and finishing cycles. And this will dovetail beautifully into doing the year ahead reading for everybody. So many of you guys are doing things like releasing generational curses. You are doing a lot of work that's very transcendental. So it's on multi dimensions, is how she's giving it to me. And it means you're working on the head, the heart, the lower chakras. You're working on physical things that are connected to health. You're breaking old, she's calling it curses. So I'll bear with me while we get this language because she's saying it how she's saying it. But the things that have made you like split away from your power, she's really saying that you are all coming back into alignment with yourselves. You're breaking free from these patterns that have probably been going on for a long time for you, but especially over the last 10 years. That's the date she's giving me. So you would know that because she's mentioning that you are now at a point of being like a transplant in your own life because a part of you, imagine this from a soul level, everybody. Absolutely. So imagine this from a soul level, everybody. I want you to imagine, I hope this is in the most grounded way possible. As you know, a lot of our spiritual being cannot contain itself within the physical realm in the third dimension. Okay. And so, but because of the enormity of our soul, and also it doesn't necessarily help us to have all that spiritual information or insight or embodiment in our physical reality. We don't need all of it to live aligned, prosperous lives. However, many of you, especially you that are on your spiritual path and ignited, are making these larger shifts in your energy field so that you can bring in more light. And you see exactly right. You're coming into union with yourself. So that's hence why if you feel tired, right? And Imani says rebirth, and a lot of people are finishing things, right? Michael's finishing his manuscript, right? Linda's like, I'm in the semi football. I'm with you, doll. Um, Oh, and we got this too on the Bridget and Lady Ain. You did 31 writings. Lady Ain is beautiful, another Irish goddess. So we have a lot of that. That's why she's coming forward, because of the rebirth cycles. Okay. So these are all the things that we can understand that are coming back into union. You just hit 25 years at your current job. Wow, Amy. Wow. Okay. So I'm going to start. So I feel her around. So I'm going to just start, bringing in some of the energy she's showing me, and she wants me to grab the embark deck. So we're going to bring that forward, and then I'll show you her card so we can bring her up. Again, we always usually put a goddess up on the altar here for all of us to connect with. We do this education in Goddess Rising. And sorry, I'm going to keep calling it Goddess Rising. It's part of that. But in my membership, if you're kind of like in some of the paid tiers, we do education on these things. Connected more. Bridget. Okay, there she is. Let's get her in, because I feel like that's important messages. And then we're going to look at the year ahead, you guys. So I kind of want you to think about, what do you want to know, for what's your intention for the year ahead? And you're going to get some messages and validation and clarification, because even though we are doing, pardon me, even though we are doing, it's a collective reading, there are so many common themes that many of us have, right? So here we go. Here's Bridget. She's such a beauty. Okay, let me read to you a little bit about from this book, which is this woman, who created this deck, put so much time and energy into this, and she's done her due diligence of research on each of the goddesses. So I would definitely recommend checking them out. I think she sells hers on Etsy, if I'm not mistaken. I'll show you guys that if you're interested. I love supporting small artists. All right, we'll read some of this, and then we're going to go into the year ahead reading. So thank you for your patience. So you get education here. All right, so her themes for Bridget are healing, inspiration, creativity, grief, smithing. So she's a metalsmither, domesticated animals, and fertility. So we'll do a little bit of this, and then we'll move on. Okay. Bridget is a Gaelic goddess who is linked to healing, wisdom, creativity, inspiration, smithing, and domesticated animals in Irish mythology. She belongs to the Tuatha De Danann, which is the folk goddess of the goddess Danu. She is the daughter of Dagda, the great god of Irish myth. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Morgan, because I feel her around me. And yes, she's also connected to fire. You're very right, sir. We'll talk about that in just a second. There's quite a bit. There's like 4 pages on here. Okay, for her. I could go on. Let's just kind of get to the texts that are going to be important. So she is a versatile goddess who can be linked to multiple archetypes. Among others, she is Mother, the Healer, the Virgin. She's commonly associated with Imbolc, okay, which we're doing. Okay, she's a festival of new beginnings. So the fire, as Michael said, is because she's a metalsmither. So that's, if you think about the spark of light when the spring comes, even though here we are in wintertime, but the spark of light that comes. So she's the torchbearer, right? She brings new life from the darkness. And she is really talking about trying new things. So she encourages you to believe in the magic of new beginnings, allow yourself to explore and experience life with childlike wonder. She's also a goddess of poetry and inspiration. She holds the Virgin's gift of pure potential. Intimacy and vulnerability are part of her creative process. At the beginning of something new, we have the chance to let our souls explore without the constraint of past experiences. So I really want you to bring that in and think about that, because that's what we're getting from her. She's helping you ignite something within you and let go of what was in the past. And this is what has to do with releasing the things that are tied to your family lineage that are limiting, and also behaviors, things that bear a weight of, that you're holding on. This is where working with the goddesses or whatever deities you feel aligned with It could be planetary magic. That's something we can talk about later. But where you feel those connections, these things can help you. Okay, very much so. I love all these things. We're going to post everyone's comments. Okay, so here we go. So she said, try out something new or approach something you have grown accustomed to with the beginner's mindset. It does not have to be a major life change. Trying out a new recipe, picking out another route from your way to work, things of that nature, or filling a fresh blank page with words or drawings, all are small new beginnings that can inspire and invigorate you. Let yourself be filled with awe, step beyond the rage of knowing, and welcome the Virgin's gift of innocence and pure potential. So here's some of these things that we're getting. So we do have, I have to get my embark altar probably ready in a couple of weeks here, but she's the Lady of the Healing Waters. There are numerous wells and springs in Ireland that are dedicated to her, and they are said to be blessed with the healing powers of the goddess. To honor her, you can work with water in your craft. Okay. She also, of course, as Michael was saying, brings the divine flame of inspiration. She can aid you in all manners of craft and creative expression. And then finally, Bridget's cross, which many of you have seen. It's made out of like a certain kind of grass, or looks like straw. And we have those often, thrushes, they're called. It's woven from straw or rushes. It's traditionally created on Imbolc. Although the cross is named for the historical Bridget of Kildare, the only female patron saint of Ireland, modern pagans associate with a goddess of the same name. So here's some of the prompts. Then I'm going to do a little Imbolc pull, but I am going to get a message from the Morgan because she is hanging out here. I can feel her energy. So that is fantastic. She's been coming up a lot. And there's a lot of good reason for that. So here we go. What is the first thing that comes to your mind that you always wanted to try, but never actually did? I would love for everybody who's able, put that in the comments. What would it be for you? So, oh, I love that. Imani Vitality says, intention for 2026 to continue my path of sovereignty and expansion, personally and professionally. That is fabulous. That is fabulous. Absolutely. I love that intention. That is so clear. That is magnificent. So you guys can keep putting that in there. Okay. All right. So we have Bridget, and we're going to bring her here with us. I'm going to put her up on the altar so she can be with us. Publishing officially. Yes. And I love that, Michael. Let's get Michael published. We like that. All right, friends. Now I'm going to keep putting up your comments once you put them in. Okay. So we're going to start with 2 readings. I think what we're going to do tonight is we're going to do the gymnastics. Ooh, I love that. That's amazing. I've actually been thinking about 2 creative things I might want to do. I'm thinking about digital art. That's one thing. I have thought about that. I'm not sure if that's necessarily a great thing because I'm on my computer, but I've also been thinking about learning to play the guitar. My daughter has a sweet little guitar and she can't bring it with her because she's traveling. So I was thinking I should just get onto YouTube. There's a teacher that I like, and she teaches all the music I love if I was playing the guitar, and just like learn how to play. All right, here we go. Linda, intentions for 2026, spend quality time with husband, downsize, plan on moving closer to grown children and grandchildren. I saw that. I love that. Oh, you've been learning to play the electric guitar. I know. That is amazing. I love that you're wanting to play the electric guitar. And then Emma says, Bridget. Right. Okay, Bridget, you want to send us a message. Let me also just connect with the Morgan. Now, you guys know the Morgan. I'm going to bring her out. She's kind of hanging out in the back. It wouldn't be surprising that because she's an Irish goddess that she would be kind of hanging out here still. So let's just pull her card for this sake. Okay. Thank you, the Morgan. She does not play around. That is for sure. She's a very strong. She's known as going in 3s. That's one thing about her. and she does not mess around. That's for sure. So she comes forward when there's things that need to be defended, cleared up, strengthened, and so on. Okay, here she is. Yeah, and she does not fuck around. Excuse my language. That's the truth. All right, so I kind of want to just bring her energy in because we're talking about this and we're talking, oh, and I'm going to give you a message from her because she's coming in. And so here is the Morgan. All right. Somebody said she's like a crossroads energy. She really is. That is a very good explanation of the Morgan, which is fiery and it's has an intensity to it. And you can almost feel it, just how the energy sort of shifts into this intensity of like, don't play small. So let me just kind of vibe with her when I'm doing this reading and let you know. So she's really wanting, she's not just coming towards anyone specifically. She's just coming for as a force. She's definitely comes forth as a protection, as a force, and of, the magnitude. And she's really kind of clarifying the moment that we're all undergoing and living in, right? Oh yeah, you can come stay with me at my house, Emma. So if you do plan on that, you can come stay with me for a while. Okay. I'll show you around. We have a room in my house. So what else was I going to say about the Morgan? So she really is making me feel like she's here for protection. She is here. If you want to call upon her, she's availing herself to you. She's definitely, if you're feeling at a point where you need an ally who is a trusted ally and a friend. I mean, she has an intense energy. But nothing to be like, I think there's a lot of myth about a lot of goddesses that isn't accurate. I think if you're interested in sort of working with a strong ally and someone who's going to really help with protection, and you want that kind of intense energy, for me, if I'm looking at her like an energy entity, this is my experience and my gnosis. The thing I feel about her is a combination of like a Scorpio energy and also at the same time a Capricorn. So she's very much like, don't fuck around. I will take you down, but also I can get things done. So she's a combination energy. That's my experience with her. So just think about that. All right, let's see. What do we need to know during this impulse season? And then what messages are coming through? And then we're going to go into the spread for the year. Okay, so we're going to pull 3 cards. What do we need to know and find out? All right, and I'll show you guys all these. Okay, this is amazing. I'll show you guys the cards. We have sacred space, mundane to eyes, not of my own. These sacred responsibilities are mine to embrace. So just put that up very close for you to see. Let me move that. So that is the first card we're pulling. Fantastic. Let me know what impressions you're getting. Exactly. She's a fuck around and find out. And she wants to come through strong because she's here as a protector, but she's not saying you're weak. She's saying I'm here as an ally. That's really what I'm feeling from her. And she's been popping up. I feel like I need to meditate with her. I work a lot with Akate, of course, she's my patron. But I have, I work with others too, but I haven't really worked with her as much. And I think I need to explore that energy. Okay. Isn't that card gorgeous? Me too. So anyway, we have that sacred space. I just want to talk to you guys again about what I think this means specifically. I really feel like this has to do with in our own homes, that we need to really look at it as like a sanctuary, a sacred space. And so if you're thinking about things like cleaning your home or arranging things in your home, or even having what we call, protection in your home. And this is, like making, I would say, okay. All right. Good. Okay. Amazing. Okay, good. So we're here for you, Imani. We're here for you. So this is going to have a lot to do with you guys taking charge of your own home. I think we need to also have people make sure that you are doing things like warding your home. I just have to be honest with you. For a lot of years, because I've been on my path for a very long time, I always thought, well, my protection work is fine. I don't necessarily need to like go extra and over. And then I noticed just over the years, well, wow, I have anxiety, and wow, I noticed this when I'm when I'm out in the public. Then afterwards, I feel this way, and all my guides are like, you need to have ward your home, like you have to protect it. So I kind of feel like that's a little bit of that coming through for sure, right? The next card coming up is Black Bear. Your existence is the resistance. All you must do is accept the power awaiting you. That's like a Morgan energy, right? Your existence is the resistance. I do feel like that's Morgan's energy. And then the final one, the number 44 is coming out. We have is take time to honor what you feel. Self-compassion is the healing balm you desire. And notice there's an owl there, you guys. An owl, a fox. I just love this artwork. It's so magnificent. So we have a lot of very good energy coming forward for us this year. I mean, if you just look at the astrology right now, it is just it's going to be an amazing year. So now is a good time to, care for self, have good boundaries, step into what you really want to do, all that kind of good stuff. Okay. All right, let's move on, friends. And now we're going to be doing, guess what? The year ahead reading. Now, I'm going to tell you guys how this is going to work. So if you need to dip out and then come back, not a problem. We will go back, we'll be doing this together for probably at least 45 minutes. I know how long these readings are. So, and if you guys, I want to let you know, if you guys are interested in getting a reading with me, a private reading with me, or if you want to do the year ahead reading, you can email me. But I do want to give you guys the link to my readings just so you can do it. I have a new reading I'm doing, which is if you're just really wanting a message, but you're like, okay, I'm kind of, I'm on a bit of a budget. So I maybe can do this like once every quarter or something, right? So this reading is a channeled reading. You get to say, okay, I want to focus on this topic. I want to focus on that topic, a couple topics. And then it's up to 40 minutes channeled. I think the price is quite good. And then I send it to you. But I'm going to release a certain amount of those per week, and then you get it back in a week, right? And so that I really recommend checking that out. Okay, plus the other ones I do. Okay, and then make sure you join the school. All right, here we go. Year ahead. This is exciting. So this is what we're going to do. This is a collective reading, and we're going to ask the guides, guardians, angels, ancestors, the benevolent ancestors that are here for our highest, greatest good to please come forward and give us the messages we need for this collective and those who watch this at a later time. This is a timeless reading. We're going to be going through the 4 quarters of the year: January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. And we're just going to see what are the themes, what's coming forward, what do we need to be aware of. Take what resonates, leave the rest. Again, this will all be time-stamped. I'm going to see what decks they want me to use and how they want me to move forward. So they're definitely pulling me into this astrology deck, which I love. That's one. We're going to use the Moonology deck. These are all my oracle decks then. Okay, and we'll see what else we have. And then I'll show you how I do these. All right, and if you guys have questions, let me know. If you're like, what about the energy for so-and-so? All right. So I tend to pull in things, and it could be also messages from ancestors and loved ones. Hang on. Okay, and let's see what decks they want to use for the year. They want to be fancy. I know that. All right, so let's do which one? Okay. All right, so they want to use these. We're going to do that. All right, sounds good. All right, let me just kind of get my energy going. So feel free to talk to your guides and say, make clear messages so I can understand them through this reading, please and thank you. And that way you'll get the messages, guidance, clarity you need. It'll come forth in the way of a validation, a symbol, a sign, a message. It will resonate. So first, the way we're going to do these, everybody, is we are going to look at first where everyone's energy is at this moment, where you are at this moment. And then we're going to look at what are some of the things you're not seeing right now. and what you need to pay attention to. And then we're going to get the guidance from your guides and your loved ones in spirit. That's going to be the final cards. And then we're going to get a cool message from these tea leaf reading. I freaking love them. The little round cards, the tea leaf round cards. A lot of people know those. Okay, so I'm going to close my eyes through part of this. Here we go. Guides, guardians, angels, ancestors, what does this collective need to know as far as going into year of 2026? Guides, guardians, angels, ancestors. All right, let's take a look. So, and I'm going to give you any channeled messages I'm hearing at the same time. I'm really getting that many of you are tackling big projects. This doesn't have to be busy work, but they feel very large in scale. So when I'm entering into the space, it feels like your abundance factor, or what you're bringing in, is exactly that. It is widening, it is expanding, and it fits where your energy is as well. So there's going to be, certainly there's going to be things that will occur that will cause a shakeup in your life because you are expanding. But I want you to validate when those things happen that you are expanding. You're not stuck. You are expanding. Okay, let's go. Where are we right now? All right. And then the cross, please. The crossed validator. Okay, we're just building on this. I'll show you guys everything. Where are they now, please? 2 cards. Okay. All right. Astrology, please. And the moon card. All right. All right, there we go. Let's see what we got, guys. All right, putting it out. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, what do we have? A lot of big energy. Okay, as I mentioned in the very beginning, remember we said it's a time of expansion. And there really is no more of an expander than the full moon in Leo energy. So you can just take a look at that. And if you have any placements in Leo, it doesn't mean you have to, but if you have any astrological placements in Leo, this can be an understanding of you are being expanded. You know, the energy of Leo is an energy of lighting up places that are dark and bringing, and the only way you're going to expand is when you don't have anything holding you back. So that big expansive aura that you have to make room for those things. Remember, it's not going to get smaller. It's going to get bigger. I know it looks like the blood moon, right? It's true. We're getting this. This is the South Node. Now, if you guys know about your South Node is a karmic placement, and it shows what you've done in past lives. So you're ascending to your North Node in your lifetime. Okay. So this is what I'm seeing, and this is what I'll show you. It's so beautiful. It says destined to resolve. Okay. So that means you're moving through these karmic layers. So beautiful. And you're moving into, ascending. That means you are dealing with the things in your subconscious that are in your auric field that are probably connected to past lives. Okay. And so that is not surprising. Why? Then we have the death card. So again, this is what I see. So the way I read, I think most of you guys know this, I'm really looking more at the energy body as opposed to specific circumstances. Most of the time I read, sometimes I get something specific, but it's more your energy body that I look at. So what I'm seeing is that there is just this literally hello, Light Witch Tarot. There is a cracking open and a shifting of that energy. So that's why if you do feel more tired, okay, if you feel a sense of, oh, I feel like I need a deep breath, I have to be outside, all these things are part of this deeper shedding, which is going on for you. Then we have this is the energy of now. I love both of the versions of this deck. This is the 2 of Wands. Also in the decans, which are placements, of course, in astrology when it comes to tarot, this is the sign of Aries. So likely there's an energy coming of expansion, possibly of new opportunities as we're moving towards the last part of the this first quarter, because we're looking at the first quarter. So this is probably closer to March that I'm getting this end of March energy of like things even opening up further. So the South Node, basically, I want you to look up evolutionary astrology. Evolutionary astrology is a branch of astrology that looks much more at the South Node, North Node, and talks more about karmic patterns. So if you go into your birth chart, you'll see what your South Node is in. So mine, for example, is in Capricorn, and my North Node's in Cancer. So I'm moving more towards the aspects of Cancer. My past lives, which kind of makes sense, are of more Capricorn energy. So that means you're moving into another space, right? Yours is an Aquarius and Leo. Don't remember. Okay, yes, that's a good one to look at. Then we also have to cover these. We also have, this is the next card we're getting, right, guys, for this time period is the Lover's card. So sure, this could be connected to relationships, but this is also a choice of choosing the heart. That's what I'm hearing. So this is a real time right now for you that you are opening up and cracking open. Oh, it's in Taurus. So then your North Node is in Sagittarius then, I think. Isn't that right? I think that's right. So you're cracking open, right? This new experience and moving forward and really going in more, coming into a raw place of like, wow, this is really what I want. Okay. So that's a really good point. So someone's saying, how can the South Node and the North Node be able to depict that whole generation shares it? You also have to probably, I mean, I am not an evolutionary astrologer. Please know that. I have other people that I would probably recommend if you watch here on, even on YouTube. There's a great guy. I really love him. He would be able to answer that question better than I, but my novice sort of part of me says what probably that is that is still, even if you look at all the other things in your chart, it's still going to play a primary role, but you bring in all the other points of it, like what other houses and what other planets are in your chart and how they all affect each other, things like that. Oh, Scorpio, Taurus. That's right. Interesting. So you can kind of, I would definitely recommend looking into, there's a gentleman who wrote a book on evolutionary astrology, who was one of the ones who I think was a pioneer in it. Let me just get the name of the book. I'll put it in here. It's definitely one of my interests, but I'm studying, I am studying right now Hellenic astrology. So, and just a second. So I'm not focusing on this as my primary, but I definitely have an interest because obviously I work with past lives. Okay, so this book that you want to get is by Stephen Forrest. Okay. Stephen Forrest. He is one of the original Jeffrey Wolf, Stephen Forrest. All these people are the sort of the pioneers of evolutionary astrology. Okay. I'll kind of put this one. Okay. Anyway, you guys get the picture. You guys can look it up later. Honestly, I'm totally, yeah, it's not a generation thing. Right. So I think it's more, I think you have to go look at it too. Again, here we go. I think you have to look at, I don't know how much that moves. It isn't out. Those are outer planets, so they might be slower. So anyway, you can take a look and definitely go in and take a peek at it. All right. So those are all the big things. Yeah. 2 years is actually not too long compared to, some of the really outer planets that are more like 10 years, 15 years, So, all right, let's go ahead and move on. So that is what we have right now going on in the energy of where you are. That's okay. Don't worry about it. We are all here learning. So that's where your energy is right now moving forward. I want to get now into what is the shadow. Great conversation though. We love the conversation. So, let's take a look at what's the shadow that we're not seeing right now. Okay. Let's see what we're not seeing. All right. Here we go. What are we not seeing? Thank you. All right. Ooh. All right. I think we got everything. One more. What are we not seeing? All right. Let's see what we're not seeing. right now. Okay, so we have the Hierophant, right? We have the Hierophant coming out. We're not seeing that. We're not seeing structure. But then we have the Sun. I think I'm getting down with this. I like it. And then we have, again, we have a double Sun in here. So there's the Sun has come out twice. It's also here in these astrology cards. Okay, so this is going to be what you're not seeing. But then also we have full moon in Libra, find a balance. And then final card, 6 of Pentacles. I pulled that for myself today. Okay, so again, this is what you're not seeing. What this is really, I'm hearing this word about the shade. Okay, so if you think about, you've got 2 of these cards about what you're not seeing that are in the Sun. I want you to just sit with that and ruminate with that. Plus this lovely energy of Libra, being lighter and balanced and beneficial, and also 6 of Pentacles. The thing, when I'm in the energy of this, of what you're not seeing, I feel a lot going on in my crown chakra. And what I'm hearing is that you're making it harder for yourself than it needs to be. That's what I'm hearing. So again, we're looking at what is the shadow that we're dealing with during this time period. You're making these choices in your life harder than they need to be. That part of what happens with the structure of the Hierophant, it's kind of like a Saturn energy, is it makes us have guidelines, restrictions. It gives us structure. It gives us balance. It's so absolutely needed in our lives. And so I feel like on some level, many of us are used to being overstressed and having things be difficult for us, right? So hello, Kaylee, right? So that's why we need to change this and realize that the Sun is all around us. That means spirit is all around us. Our loved ones are all around us. We don't have to work as hard. It doesn't have to be as difficult. And understand that structure, limitation, things are for your highest good. And it makes you almost not overwork. Okay. And the reason is because we're finding that balance. You know, the 6 of Pentacles is also, even though it's an earth sign, I feel like it's very connected in with Libra because it's a balance. It's give and take. And so it has to do with reciprocity of you giving and receiving. And so I think spirit and your guides really want you to know right now during this period that makes me just want to crack my neck, that you don't need to hold down the whole fort, that so much is being done for you behind the scenes, and all your work that you're putting into, manifesting what you're wanting. And any way that you do that, that's not diminished. It is being worked with. So this really has to do with you releasing needing to keep working as hard as you are. Okay. Now we're going to look at what is the message from our guides, our loved ones, right? Withholding clarity. Yeah. All right. Let's take a look at what they want us to know. There's a big thing about abundance here is really what I'm getting. I keep hearing that word reciprocity. That's been coming up a lot. Balance. Okay. This is for what they want to know from guides, guardians, loved ones, angels, 10 of Wands, Emperor. Okay. Moonology, please. And then the astrology card, please. Also, just to note, we pulled the Saturn card again. I'm going to give you that. I didn't see that. So we have the Saturn. Yep. Saturn energy. Very necessary. All right, here we go. All right. We are pulling the 10th house. Amazing. Oh, this is so good. I can't take it. All right. Then we have last quarter moon in Cancer. Take a breather. We have the Emperor, which is very much like kind of a Saturn energy. 10 of Wands, 7 of Pentacles, and the 9. Okay, let me just show you the images. First of all, the 10th house. Again, didn't we just say this thing about structure? That's what that's about. Structure. Also the owl, right? Wisdom. It also says here structure, discipline, life mission, accomplishments, and career. So this is connected to career, right? But also in this whole stream of things, we have the emperor. So this is, again, the places you want to travel to. And this is a message coming from your guides and loved ones. Okay, last quarter moon in Cancer, take a breather. We'll talk about all these. And then we're moving between the 7 of Pentacles and the 9 of Pentacles. I feel like that's meant to be highlighted, as well as the 10 of Wands. Okay, I'm really drawn. If I'm seeing 2 cards from the same sign that are in a succession, just missing one in the middle, I'm saying to myself, what is the card in the middle? The card in the middle that's missing is the 8 of Pentacles, which has to do with work, dedication. Good. I'm glad. That's good, Emma. Work, dedication, focus, building. And what we need to understand is that I'm seeing a shield here. This is all the exertion you're putting into what you're doing. You're over exerting. So that needs to change. I'm just going to give it to you straight. I'm going to give it to you really straight that one of the things that you guys are doing, you're working too hard and burning out. So you do need to rest. You do need to recover. You do need to let other people do things. You do need to delegate. You need to make it easier. You need to sometimes you have to pay a little money to get extra stuff done if you need to, right? So it's okay to do that. And again, you're pulling in the Cancer moon. Exactly, Michael. You're not meant to carry the fire alone. That's very true. Very accurate statement. And that's Bridget coming in with the fire. So what we want to really embrace right now is the fact being co-partners with our guides, our loved ones, whatever deities, goddesses, whatever benevolent forces you work with. Okay. These things are very important in your life right now to help you get to where you want to go, right? So imagine the expansion energy that comes in. When you get an expansion of energy, it doesn't mean you have to do more, you guys. It means that you have to just hold the space for more to happen. And it doesn't mean you have to run around like a chicken with your head cut off because you're getting more of your spiritual energy back. In fact, you've got to learn to okay, when I show up in the energy of the places I'm going, wow, more shit happens. Just excuse my language, but I don't have to do as much. I don't have to say as much. I don't have to give as much. I don't have to think as much. Things are just starting to happen. And why is that? It's because of your frequency. It's because you did the work. You showed up. You did the healing journey. You did the meditations. You wrote things down. You journaled. You did the shadow work. You did the shit. So you're more like the divine now. But the divine doesn't run around like a chicken with their head cut off, guys. They are the emperor, right? Look at the emperor. Where's he going? Nowhere. He's sitting on that throne like a boss. So, and he's not in a rush, right? So this is why, again, we have to have limits. We have to have boundaries. We have to take pauses. We got to take care of ourselves. Okay. This is really important, guys. I want you to get this. And then we get to the place where we're in this 9 of Pentacles vibration where we are then, oh my gosh, accepting, look at all, she's now all her grapes are ready to be eaten off the vine. You see what I'm saying? So I want you guys, these next 6 weeks or hello. These next 6 weeks or so, you're definitely, in a place of the red carpet's getting rolled out. Get ready. And also just let things and transpire. Make sure you take care of yourself so that because your energy is being adjusted. Okay. Working harder, not smarter. Okay. Let's take a look at the second quarter. Who's excited? I am. Okay. The second quarter, April, May, June. So let's switch our energy and just feel into that forecast, what that's going to bring, what we need to know, what we need to embrace, shadow and all. Perfectly normal, part of the journey. We're going to have some shadow, this mortal coil. Here we are in this mortal coil. All right, let's put these away and continue. I really loved seeing that 10th house card. That was my favorite for this particular part of the reading. I must say, if I do say so myself. Welcome in, everybody. We're so excited everybody's here. Welcome in. So what are we doing tonight? We are actually doing the year ahead reading, the energy for this collective. This will all be timestamped later. I'll do that tomorrow. And it'll be back in here so you can come back to it to know what's going on. This is for the collective. If this resonates, great. If it's not for you, it's perfectly okay. Pulling the Emperor here again. So the Emperor is coming up again, second time, different deck. So just keep aware of that energy. It's the energy of Aries, right? Masculine, strong. It doesn't have to be, it could be a person. It could also just be part of your astrology, you know, or it could be a loved one in spirit, right? Also make sure if you guys can, if you want, I'd love for you to join my community. It's called Yeah, see, I got, right, Kaylee? I got you. So you're an Aries, love it. I have 2 people in my household who have Aries moons. So I know it well. All right, here we go. Actually, my Mars is in Aries, which is compatible because that's its natural place to be. Okay. All right, here we go. This is for the spring. What do we need to know? What do we need to hear? Okay, your spirit guides are really talking in this reading. So I am really feeling like some of you are going to need to really work on that communication with your spirit guides. We'll talk about that in a second. Whoop, thank you. Because your spirit guides are really coming in for that second quarter. They're always around, of course. They're a part of us. They're a part of our team. But for some reason, they're really emphasizing that particular quarter of the spring. And let's see what they mean. All right. Can you clarify that for me? And let me get a channeled message from the spirit guides, please, who are here. Okay. This is this could be a collective message. Take it if it resonates, but this has a lot to do with your spirit guides and then moving into the second quarter. I want you guys, and see if it resonates, to think about adding in more time with your guides where you can just open up the space to have conversation with them. This should happen kind of pretty frequently anyway, but especially around that time, because many of you are going to be in big transitions during that time, and you're going to want their insight, their knowledge, their downloads, and to be able to collaborate with them, because some of you are going to have to make quick decisions. That's what I'm hearing. Okay. I know. It's, oh my gosh. Oh yeah. So that really is this, you guys need to just do the simple thing right now, saying, okay, I want to connect with you. Just go ahead and talk to me. What do I need to know? What do I need to hear? And I'm feeling like, especially around that beginning of, even in March, just to bring them in closer, there's going to be more of you guys are making bigger decisions faster around that time. And so you're going to need to be in the loop with them. Just so now, it's not horrible if you don't, believe me, but it makes things, it helps you withstand some of the changes in a better way. Okay, that's what I'm really getting. I heard that loud and clear. So we're going to go with that and let's see what they got. Okay, there's their card. 3 of Pentacles. Work with me, collaborate with me. This is the beginning of April, right? Around and about. Work and collaborate with your guides. It's a big, big thing we need to do to get you guys in balance. Okay. Also, again, we have the number 3 coming up. Okay. So we're getting the trine. This is an angle in astrology. Angelic support. Hello. Take that in. Take it in. Angelic support, harmony, and perfect flow. Why are we making it hard on ourselves? Why do we try to do so much on our own? It's a catalytic energy when you work with your guides. It makes the hard work so much lighter. And we need to get that transistor radio up and running more. Okay, everybody. And if you're in my community, we work on everything with guides on a regular basis. It's just like part of the agenda. And I talk about it every single day of my work. I feel like I'm an advocate for spirit guides. I should be like one of their reps. I'm one of their sales reps. Okay, finally, we have the death card coming out. So there's endings coming up around that time. Remember what we said? There's some breaking up, there's some endings, there's some new beginnings, right? Downsize also means to clear, clean. Absolutely. We love that. And then finally, we're getting the star, reborn, rebirth, but it doesn't happen overnight. You know, the star, by the time you get to the star, like my tarot teacher says, by the time you get to the star, it's not like hope, light, and angels. It's because you really have been through the ringer, and now you're moving into something that's much brighter. That's really what I'm getting for this. Again, this is the beginning of that spring season. Okay, so keep that energy in your forethought about the guides and about April. Okay, what are we not seeing? The sun came out again for what are we not seeing? Popped right out. All right, what's the next card, please? For what are we not seeing? Our blind spot, shadow, please. 9 of Cups. Okay. Astrology, please. Okay. All right, final card. Okay, let's see what they're telling us. All right, so right away we're not seeing what is right under our nose. Okay, a couple things came out here. There's an illumination. Again, this is around the time of April, May, June. So this is okay. I kind of need more of the cards to tell the whole story. 9 of Cups. You are in the moment. You are abundant. You feel fulfilled. There's that really that strong energy coming in. My gosh. Okay, Jupiter, expansion. And you know, the Jupiter and the sun are very compatible, obviously. Grow and expand. Amazing. And the 9 of Cups. Wow. You see how this works. What I've noticed in all of these year ahead readings I've gotten is this progressive thing. It's almost like the sun is coming out. If you watch it in slow-mo, but it's really happening fast, in fast motion when the sun rises and how it glows and makes it's everything that was dormant starts to light up. Think about the resistance you might have to something getting to be good. We're getting the new moon in Pisces. We got 2 in Pisces, and this would be still probably not really in Pisces, but we have 2 in Pisces. This is again, we're talking about the second quarter. So this is April, May, June. We have a first quarter moon in Pisces. Honor your feelings, right? But then we also have new moon in Pisces attuned to the divine. Can someone look up for me? Let me know if we have either a full or a new moon in Pisces during April, May, or June. Can someone look that up for me? Again, if you can't, it's okay. I could look on my phone, but that's what I got. So here's what we need to know. This is just part of this continuous energy of, again, second quarter, just going back to where we are, April, May, June, things opening up like this. And then possibly, you know, when you're in the sun, in your energy, and sometimes it's just a little too much. It's not because of the heat. It's just because you need to have balance again, something like that. So I would say, for me, it's just getting used to being in the spotlight, getting used to people noticing you, getting used to not being ignored, getting used to things working out for you. You know, sometimes we need to train our brains to say it's okay that things are working out. It's okay, things are going well. It's okay, things are working out. It's okay. I am where I am. And if you need, I'm hearing this as well, guys. Some of you are going to need to work on EFT tapping in order to reprogram the subconscious. Do what works for you, but that's what I'm getting. Yes, this is it. Imani says, scared the bottom's going to fall out. Like, this is so good. Maybe it's going to go bad. I know. And I think that's something. So I'm really, okay, good. I knew I could count on Amber. She's like, all right. So here's what I want you to pay attention to. The new moon in Pisces is in mid-March, and we're looking at April, May, June, but there's something about that probably that I want you guys to pay attention to with intention setting around that too. Because if you know anything about Goddess Rising, we usually do we have a spell we offer that's connected to the new and the full moon. So I want you to pay attention to that, what that would be like for you, and doing either whatever work you do around. I mean, I don't, I'll let you guys discover what that is, but I'm feeling that energy, almost like you need to attune to that. There's a gentleness there. There's a receptivity there that's saying safe. You can be safe. You can be safe and be expansive. You can be safe and be abundant. You can be safe and not have to overdo things. You've got to get your nervous system used to the new frequencies. Okay. It's a real thing, right? Especially if we're used to struggle, right? And we're used to things kind of being maybe a little difficult. All right. Next, we're going to be pulling, what do we need to know as far as what our guides and our loved ones are telling us about this phase. Again, we're talking about the second quarter, April, May, June. So what we need to know, let's see what they're telling us. Okay. Ooh, that flashed right out. Okay. I love when they come out so strong, as if you absolutely can't ignore them. They just like, no, that's the card. And there's not a choice in the matter. I'm glad it's resonating. I'm so happy. Good, good, good. All right, here we go. Let's keep going. Again, these messages then in the second quarter are coming from your loved ones in spirit, from your guides, benevolent ancestors, but also if you work with any spirits, any of your spirits. Okay. 9 of Pentacles, the Death card. We have the first quarter moon in Virgo. And then we have the first house, which is very interesting. Okay. So let me go with that first. This is what's coming through for from your guides, guardians, loved ones, what have you. We have the first house coming through. It says here, individuality, self-image, and approach to life. So we all know the first house is really like when you're born, that's the one that shines out onto, that's what the one that like exposes itself and says, this is who I am in the world. This is my footprint. So and if you think about that on a level of having most of your life probably trying to like cover that up or fit in or be smaller or be caught up in like just coincidences. I mean, sorry, in not coincidences, I would say probably just, circumstances. So it's a matter of you guys are being pushed out into the spotlight. That's what I'm hearing. And people do that in different ways. So, you don't have to necessarily be on stage to have that happen. You could be working at the same job you're at, but have it just to be a different thing. And even when I'm sitting here with you in your energy, I am feeling my third chakra getting triggered. And what do we know about the third chakra? The third chakra, the solar plexus, that's your power center. That is where you emanate your strength from. And think about it, that's with the first house, that's what you're projecting. And if you've been collapsing it, coming out into the spotlight is, going to put you into like a little bit of a tailspin. So I'm preparing you ahead of time, guys, so you can start working on your subconscious now ahead of time. So there's more ease. And just getting yourself in that space and in that alignment, whichever way feels right for you to do that. Like I said, EFT tapping is an amazing route. However you want to rewire your subconscious. Some people do journey work. It's just always up to you. But that's a big one on the third chakra. How are we doing? We're halfway through the year. Holy smokes. That third chakra one's a big one, guys. That third chakra is a big in for this group. And I'm going to tell you something about all of you, more or less. You have not, most of you who are on my collective have not been used to being in the spotlight. And you've put yourself last in many lifetimes. You've been the one who's like held down the fort, the last person to, leave the door protected, taking it for the team. You have, bit off more than you can chew. And so you've been left aside. It's not happening in this lifetime. This lifetime's a different one. So, and that's why you're interested in spiritual growth, development. That's why you're interested in healing. That's why you're interested in past lives. That's why you're interested in reclaiming, and taking charge and stepping into your power. It's all those things. It's not coincidence. Okay. It's not coincidence. Otherwise, why you wouldn't be here on a Friday night, it's not just me. It's just your interests. Right. All right. Let's see. What do we need to know? Now we're in the third quarter, guys, right? April, May. So we have July, August, September. Always the one left holding the door open. Right. Exactly. But that is changing. And again, the first house in your astrology, what you project. And if you've had to kind of collapse that a little bit, I want everyone to go and look and tell me where your first house is. You'll know this, right? By your rising side, north, by right, your ascendant. Everybody put what their ascendant is in the chat, okay? If you know it. All right. Capricorn. Hello. Libra. Okay. And I want you guys to think about, if you know anything about any of those signs, I want you to think about what's the challenge of those signs. Okay. Think about what do they do? Virgo, Libra, Capricorn. Mine's in Scorpio. But also at the same Cancer, but at the same time, think about the strength of them. So I want you to think about the challenge of them and the strength of them just for this exercise. Virgo. Okay. Perfectionism, right? We have a lot of Cancer risings in here. Y'all have that in common. Yes, that's okay. The question is, I want you to look at what your ascendant is, what your first house is, essentially. What is that for you? And then see, and I want you to look at what's the challenge and what's the strength. You're a Scorpio rising. I know you and I have that in common. Right? And I want you to think about how maybe you've been buried under that first house energy because of either the negative part of it that's more difficult, or what's been piled on top of you because of family members, society, things like that. Okay. So just take time to do that. All right. Now we're going to go moving into, guys, the third. I almost said the third house. No, we are not looking at the third house. We are looking at the third quarter. Libra. Yeah, keep putting those in there. You guys just keep it up in the chat. I'm going to keep doing this for us. You guys can talk amongst yourselves for a minute. All right. Where are we? We need 2 of those. Okay. Very good. All right. There we go. And what do you have here for us? Third quarter. Where's our energy here? Where are we? Sextile. Ooh, okay. Then we have full moon in Libra. We have 2 of Pentacles. Where are you? You have a Page of Cups. We have a Queen of Cups, and we have the Ten of Swords. Woof. Okay. So the first card I'm really drawn to talking about, again, let's remember where we are in this. We are now in the third quarter. So January, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, right? We have the sextile, which is a combination of tension and flow. It's when an angle is with planets is causing that disruption or friction, which actually helps us grow if you think about it. Potential and a rewarding situation. So we're going to just keep with that for a minute, hold that down. Then we have the full moon in Libra. I know I did the same thing, Imani, from the Game of Thrones. I did the same thing. I was totally channeling that because I freaking love Hodor. All right. But then, guys, look at this. We have kind of a new energy coming in around the 3rd. This is what makes me think we've got some new things going on. We have the Page of Cups and we have the 2 of Pentacles, right? But then we also have the maturity and the wisdom of the Queen of Cups and the 10 of Swords. So this is the 3rd quarter. Let me zoom in on this. So the first thing what I'm really, really led to is this, the Page of Cups. I feel like there's a couple things here. First of all, the Page of Cups energy has a naivete to it. It has a sort of a gullible energy to it. It has a being maybe a little fish out of water, but being eager. It has some of that there. But then also with the 2 of Pentacles, we're making a choice about something. This could, okay, let me tell you some of these things. This could be something. I want you to get comfortable. Here it comes. For some of you, not everybody, but for some of you, this feels like you're in a new position, possibly a leadership role you've been given. And I think you need to probably, the challenge for you is going to be stepping more into your authority, like being in the role of, let's call you the bad guy, even though we know you're not the bad guy, is what I'm hearing. So it feels like this is related to work or some kind of a leadership position for some of you, where you're having to say no to people. You're having to give feedback. You're having to put limits on things, and you're having to step into that. And so a little bit of that is somehow it's slightly awkward. I'm not going to lie to you. But the tension of that is going to really cause, isn't that funny, Emma? Because you were kind of coming to my mind. And Emma was like, I think that's going to be me. You were totally popping in my head, just as a note. But I want you to get comfortable. Here's the deal, man. I want you to get comfortable being in this role of the Queen of Cups instead of the Page of Cups. So, the Queen of Cups is deeply compassionate. She's a nurturer, but she's also, think about the energy of Cancer. They're deep and they have a lot of emotion, but they're also like, listen, that's not going to work. Okay. That's not the thing you should do. I know, me too. I can see that. But then we also have the 10 of Swords, which is you're coming to an end of a cycle where you have been the doormat again. Hodor, Hodor. You've been the doormat. So you're coming to an end of that cycle, many of you. Okay. You might see yourself in a different way in this. Say, for example, you've tolerated something for a really long time, or you've maybe taken on more, bitten off more than you can chew, things like that. Right. So there's things that are kind of laying there burdened on you. So I want you to be really aware of that during the 3rd quarter, because I feel some of you are going to be moving on with things. There's going to be new opportunities. And I want you to think of, if you're put in charge of something, you do not have to be everyone's friend. Right? We're not always on the friendship thing. I've had to tell some clients that before. Meaning mostly people that, that are, don't know me very well, or they come into my life and they get one reading and they're like, oh, do you want to hang out and do the thing I want? No, like, and it's not because I don't want to hang out. It's just like, until I establish things, like I'm in the place of being like a guide. And so I'm not into that position. You see what I mean? And it's okay. It's the best thing, right? It's funny. Amy and Emma, same. I like it. Okay. So now let's get this into the hands of, what are we not seeing? Okay. What are we not seeing? What are we not seeing? Where's our blind spot, please? Where's our blind spot? All right. Now we go into here, please. Okay. Final card. All right. Let's see what we got. Let's see what the deal is. Welcome. It's so nice to meet you. So here's what we're doing. These are all collective readings tonight. Now, I do open up. I am starting to go live and offer paid readings I'll put that down on the bottom. Probably I'll do that on Tuesday, but I'll let you know. I'll announce it for sure. Just kidding. Tonight we're doing group readings. Emma says, I've been working through this for a while, not being everyone's friend and not exactly, and having more boundaries. Very important. Thanks, Just Kitten. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so here's what we're not seeing. Ooh, this is good. Guess who's coming up again, guys? The energy of Saturn. Feel restricted, experience struggle, learn hard work and patience. And again, the owl is coming up. The owl is definitely a symbol. Okay. We also have full moon in Taurus, which is to detoxify. And we have the Four of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles. Okay. In leadership, cannot blur the line. Ask Christy. She's an HR person. All right. So here we go. Let me look at this. This is what we're not seeing. Again, to me, this comes down. This is the theme right now. It's going to be for a lot of you guys, just around having boundaries with people. And this may be professionally. This could be friends. This could be people asking you for guidance, help, what have you. I almost feel like you're having a bigger, wider, fuller plate, things coming in. And in that, you need to have boundaries and limitations, that you simply have to be comfortable drawing the line, doing the Queen of Pentacles, which is, I can't do that now, or I'll check back in with you later, because we're actually getting a double Earth with the Queen of Wands, with the Taurus moon, and then also with the Queen of Pentacles. So we're getting the double thing, right? So we're like, nope, can't do it. Draw the line. There's a structure here. I put a line in the sand. It's not going to happen. All right. Saturn is very earth-based to me too, because it's talking about limitations. It's talking about your time. It's talking about like just saying, I only have this much time to do this thing. That means you can't, if people are calling you and say, hey, can you have coffee today? And you say, no, I can't. I'm working on something else. What about next week? And being okay with that. Being okay with that. Because the final thing here is the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands is really giving us that four corners in a house that makes it stable and solid so you can celebrate and be taken care of. Trust me, this is what you guys need. If this may not be for you guys, but this is strong. Okay, this is really coming in. So embrace. And if you're already doing that, amazing. Okay. So again, where are we? This is the third quarter. We're now moving in, which is, I keep doing this. July, August, September. So this is really more summertime, wintertime for those of you that live in the Southern Hemisphere. All right. Now we're going to look at what you need to know from your guides, your guardian, guides, guardians, angels, ancestors, loved ones, and spirit. What's the message from them for that time frame? After that, we're going to go into the last quarter, see what we got. And then some lucky person here who's been here is going to get a free reading. That's right. All right. What do we have? What is coming up from the ancestors, the loved ones, the guides, the guardians? What's the message here? There's definitely travel. I just heard the words travel. Taking time out to do something that's special for you. Even if it feels like a small trip, I'm hearing that's really important during that time. All right, let's see what we got from the loved ones and the aunts and loved ones. Last quarter moon in Capricorn, I knew that was happening. Aw. Leave the past behind. Then we also have the element of air, which is open-mindedness, objectivity, and learning. I agree with that. All right, this is the Six of Swords because I know that. Oh, Six of Cups and Five. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, this is family stuff. Okay, we have the Five of Wands and the Six of Cups. And then finally, we have the King of Pentacles. Ooh, this is a yummy one. King of Pentacles, and then the Nine of Pentacles. This is a good stuff. Okay, let me dive into the last. Let's see what they're wanting to tell us. So first of all, we have a lot of energy. We have 3 cards that are in Earth. We have, this is balanced actually. This whole part of the reading is balanced. We have air, earth, water, fire in this reading. Really good energy. I mean, you're ending this summer span, depending on where you live, with things just being very peaceful to me, feeling like they feel settled. They feel a sense of contemplation. You're feeling in a really good place with your spirituality and your practice. I feel like many of you are going to have these sort of deeper meditations, reflections. I can see a lot of you channeling and like writing a lot more. So it's just a really peaceful energy coming to the end of this quarter, which is nice, you know. I also know the astrology is extremely good. Not that it's not good the rest of the time, but it's very good around that time, if I do say so myself. The energy of Jupiter is pretty, make sure you look up the energy of Jupiter for yourself around that time of year anyway, this year. It's pretty spectacular, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, let me go ahead, and then we're going to finish up with the last one. Yes, Michael's giving us a little, that's right, exactly. We like a little Capricorn. Capricorn's very stabilizing, you know, and it's also showing, you know, if you look at the Capricorn, the goat has invested a lot of time over a long period of time for their goals and aspirations. And that's what this feels like. It's like a benefit of investing in something, and it's paying off, right? Even though there might be challenges and difficulties and things of that nature, but really good energy there. All right. Can you believe it? We're at the last part now. Okay, here we go. This is going to be the big one. Now, I'm going to pull the extra cards here as well from the tea leaf, which will be interesting. And let's see if they want to do anything different for this one for the last quarter. So this would be October, November, December 2026. What do we need to know? I'm hearing there's a lot of people celebrating birthdays around that time. I just did hear that. Okay. I'm also hearing sometimes be aware of what you feel compelled to say in certain groups. Make sure you're kind of checking in just a little bit with that intuition and saying, for example, do I need to say anything about that? And your guides might say no. Right? So I want you to kind of be aware of that around that time. So check in. You're like, should I say that? Okay, I'm hearing that. All right, let's see. Let's keep going. Again, me trusting the guides. They're saying what they got to say. All right. Ooh, that shot rope couple. All right, stick with it. All right, the first quarter, like, where are you? Where's your energy again? Oh, they want me to pull out a ton of cards. Okay, here we go. All right, let's see what's coming out. Ooh, the 12th house. Gemini. First quarter moon in Libra. First quarter moon in Cancer. 10 of Wands. Ace of Swords. Star card, 7 of Cups. Ooh, okay, let's see what we got. Tune in. Again, this is where your energy is. Again, we're going to go back to first position with how you are, where you're at this moment. So this is coming through first. I'm getting a lot in the heart chakra. Yeah, exactly. To be careful of communication. Not a bad idea. So we're getting first quarter moon in Cancer, push through any insecurity. And then also keep your heart open at the same time, right? So that's this internal sort of process that many of you are growing through is what I'm hearing. You're still in that expansion era. Yeah, this one feels really connected in with the heart chakra for me. Um, exactly. Working on that, knowing when to speak, and then knowing when to, right, give an opinion. It's a journey. Yeah. So I'm also feeling like breaking ties. I am seeing a thing about breaking ties, and that's coming up here. Ace of Swords, 10 of Wands. It feels a lot to me like we're cutting. Okay, let me tell you guys something. I just realized this. It is not, it's going to be released probably sometime this weekend. I've already created it's on my channel. It's under unlisted though. I just channeled and recorded a guided journey on clearing out cords. And you know, clearing out cords is not just saying, "Hey, Archangel Michael, can you cut the cord?" You want to know what's the origin, why is it there, what did I experience, what sort of did I experience with it, what did I learn. So you're going through that process. So make sure you guys check out that video. Just tune in on Monday. By Monday, it'll be there. That's going to be a good one. But I'm feeling with a lot of you guys, the fourth chakra, the heart chakra, that's a lot of things that are going on towards later part of this year. Right? Is self-love, how you view yourselves, your place in not just in the world, but in the life that you're living and opening up to that. It's really what I'm getting. And interesting is because we're getting that thing about Gemini energy, which is watch your mouth. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but maybe some of the things, because Gemini energy is very quick. It's sort of Mercury. It says, let's say that. I don't know why. Let's go there. So it's like a chess game, I'm hearing in some ways. Because this is saying curiosity, intellect, and networking, but then also you have the 12th house here, which is spirituality, karma, sacrificial service and healing, and then transcendence. I know, right? Right. So it's kind of like your clearing is going to be able to be heard by some, and then some people aren't going to be able to take it in. Okay. So that's really what I'm getting. And then finally here, where are you? Star card and the 7 of Cups. That's an interesting energy. And I would say choose your spirituality. When in doubt, choose your spirituality. That's what it feels like when I'm getting these two together. Because we know the 7 of Cups is a card of selection. And it's also a card of like, what's the obvious choice, but it's not obvious because you're overwhelmed by choice and the shiny object syndrome. But then really what you want to do in order to get to the good stuff is to choose spirituality. Interesting kind of a mix of energy with that. It doesn't all plug in together, but I feel like the pieces of it are going to make sense to you guys. And I'll be excited to say when people come back and say, oh my gosh, you said that thing about this and that. And I'll say, I don't remember that. Just kidding. All right. Let's look at what's the shadow around the last quarter. What are you challenged with? What do you need to know? What's going on? What do you maybe don't want to look at? All right. Here we go. Just so you know, we have the 8 of Wands on the bottom of the deck. I'm going to go there. The Moon card. What is unconscious? What's not being shown? Shiny object center, 10 of Swords, and then the 5 of Wands. They only want me to pull these out for the shadow. Okay. You are the boss. What's going on? Let me check. Just stick with me for a minute. Let me get this. I'm going to kind of get my clairvoyance going. It's interesting, Emma, that you said the thing about your third eye. And so this will be something, and again, this is what you're not seeing. There's something around the third eye, and I'm getting the month of December. And I'm feeling a level of congestion around the third eye. And then looking at depth of seeing. So in order to sort of be preventative, I'm going to say this to you guys. This is something I'm doing and I would recommend it. Like this year, I'm working a lot on my third eye. because my guides suggested it. And I'm exercising that muscle more than normal. I do it every day, but I'm going in for training with it. And I would say there's something around the third eye that we are clearing. And I'm not sure why they want you to know that, but that's something I want you to focus on. Maybe not right away. You have a lot on your plate, but think about doing exercises related to your clairvoyance. Training yourself maybe to look at things from a psychic perspective. This could be in depth to give you clarity about a lot of different situations, right? So you'll be ahead of the curve and not like, I never saw that. Never saw that. No, you'll say, no, I saw that. You know what I mean? Okay, that's interesting energy. I'm just going to leave that there. I don't know what all that means, but I know they're having me work on it. Like I thought, I'm clairvoyant. And they're like, yeah, we're working on that this year. Is what your job is this year. You're going in for extra work after 35 years. All right. This is going to be from your guides, guardians, angels, ancestors. What do we need to know? So yeah, I do. So it's funny you mentioned that. So I am so I do teach psychic development. It's what I do. And so in that right now, and I have to tell you something kind of interesting. If you go right now into my YouTube channel, I'm doing a series of shorts, but I'm probably going to make them into longer videos or long form where I'm working on each ability. So stay tuned because I just posted it today. So again, I do what my guides tell me. You know, they're not the boss of me. I'm laughing, but I am working on it. Yeah, they want me to. They want me to go in and just work on it with my students. So stay tuned. But also if you're in my membership, you're going to get a lot of that third eye teaching. So stay tuned. Okay, here we go. And there's a reason we need to have our third eyes popping. This is what I'm getting. I've never really thought about it. It does. It's very true. I would totally agree with that, Amani. Yeah, it does. It's interesting because there is such a thing when I signal, yes, definitely, but we want to see what's going on in the world and in different situations. So I am not a conspiracy theorist. Please understand that. But I feel like probably the reason why are not just my guides, but all the guides want us to be seeing really clearly is because there is a lot of energy that's being tampered with when it comes to AI. And I never thought I would say that. You guys know me. I'm so earthy, but I feel like that's what they're telling me. Okay, I have to be honest. And that's why they're having me study. I'm doing a remote viewing training starting in a week and a half. Who's going to get all the benefit of all that? All my students. Yeah, right, Banji? I know. So all my students will get the benefit of all that because I pretty much teach what I learn in my membership and for my students. So yeah, so I'm going to be working on that. Amy's saying yes. So, and again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I never have been, but we'll look at where we are on Earth right now. We need all hands on deck. And this is what my job is, to help people. My job is to help people wake up to their abilities so they can use them the way they're supposed to. That's my job. So here we are. Okay, let's get their message. Queen of Pentacles, the Temperance card. We got that on the table. We're already excited about that. Anytime I see the Queen of Pentacles and the Temperance, I'm like, yes, thank you for coming to dinner. Ooh, they're pulling a lot of cards out. Probably because this is the final part. Okay. Let's see what the moon is telling us. All right. And then finally, let's go to the astrology. Also, dear people of the world, I am going to, if you're in the membership, which I highly recommend you guys join my membership. It's free to join as a community member. And what I would say is that, some people are going to be people that train with me, and then some people are just going to be a community member. There's no priority for me. Obviously, if you're taking a class for me, if you're training with me, you're training with me. But I also love my community members who are just in there. Yeah, exactly. I am giving a free one at the end. You are right about that. So let me pull this card. So anyway, please feel free to join my community. I would love that, please. Lots of stuff going on for this year. Very excited. I have an in-depth training. I'm putting all the finishing touches on, which is called the Soulless Energy Healing and Reading certification course, which is going to be, in general, it's like a 6-month training. And it's very comprehensive. That's going to be starting in about 5-6 weeks later in February. So stay tuned for that. But you can also do other classes. And also, you guys, I have to tell you, I forgot. I'm teaching a 5-week introduction to mediumship class. Okay, let me grab it. So if you guys are interested in communicating with loved ones in the spirit world, or just improving your essentially your mediumship connections, learning to listen to spirit, learning to be able to pick up the messages from spirit, learning to be able to bring forth evidence. This class is for you. Okay, so I'm going to put it here in the chat. I haven't mentioned that. I forgot. Okay, and I would highly recommend you guys, if you're interested in that, I'd love to have you in there. So there's 2 levels to it. You can also just go to that's the checkout page. But if you go to my, 1 second, guys, thank you for your patience. If you go to my website, there's a page and it explains what's connected there as well. So let me just grab it. Hang on. Sorry about that. I totally forgot to mention it. I'm not always great at remembering, but here we are. All right. Here we go. So yeah, if you guys are interested in developing your mediumship abilities, now for me, it's kind of like an ongoing thing, because, learning to connect with spirit, learning to get the messages from loved ones, those are just like gifts and things that we probably really always should be developing. But I'd love you to be in the class. It's going to be on Sundays later in the day, and I'm excited. We're already getting some people signing up. Very excited about it. Oh, thank you. Emma's trained with me before. She's an amazing medium too. She's an incredible teacher. But yeah, we had a really fun time when we did that last year. That was so fun. Was that 2024? That's crazy. That was 2 years ago. We had an amazing time. That was a great class. So anyway, I highly recommend, if you guys are interested in training with me, do the mediumship class. All right, let's see what the end of the year brings. We have a lot of very interesting energy going on. So one of the prominent themes here, I think, is going to be around relationships towards the end of the year, because we're getting the 7 of Swords, we are getting the Lover's card, and the 2 of Swords. So we're making a decision probably about some relationships. We're deciding what's best for us. We are deciding how much we want to invest in those relationships. We are defining and deciding where we want to put our energy as far as just connections in general. That's just the theme, I think. We're also pulling in the card of Leo. That's courage, light, bringing things into alignment, right? We have self-confidence, loyalty, creativity. Okay. Sorry, guys. And then we're also having 8 of Pentacles coming out, which definitely talks to us about work, dedication, focus. That's what they're saying. So kind of focusing more on yourself, just to let you know. We also have the last quarter moon in Aries, working through your feelings, and then the new moon in Leo. So a lot of fire energy towards the end of the year, just incredible. But then finally, in the end, we have the Queen of Pentacles and the Temperance card, right, coming out. That was a wonderful, and we had such a great group in that class, right, Em? That was such a fun time. We had a big class. Let's take a look at this now, see what we've got going on. So we got the relationship energy. They're really highlighting that. And then the Queen of Pentacles and the Temperance. So this talks about transmutation of things that you've been invested in, that you've built, that you've handled. So I just want you to not be surprised if you have shifts in some of your connections at the end of the year this year. If you've outgrown some dynamics, you don't have to totally outgrow the person, but you might outgrow some of the dynamics of relationships. And this does happen even in long-term partnerships. You might get to the point where you're like, I don't really like how we're doing this thing anymore. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Why are we doing it that way? Can we rethink that? So there's going to be a revisitation if you're already in a long-term relationship, or if you're something in that's not as depth, has as much depth, that's more superficial. It feels to me like that could, you either become disinterested or you disengage. So don't be surprised if you even surprise yourself, is really what I'm hearing when it comes to that. Now, this is going to be the last part of the reading. And then after that, you guys can, if you want to be considered for a reading, and again, I am going to just ask my guides, who you guys have all been here and have been amazing. I've loved it so much. If you want to be considered for a reading tonight, please go ahead and just put your first name in the chat. And you can do that now while we're pulling the last part. And then, sorry, the other thing you do, put your name in, but what do you want to focus on? One topic. All right, so here's the tea leaf cards. These are so much fun. Let's see what we get. There's one, there's two. I know, we have a good time together, don't we all? It's because we're all soul family. It's part of it. All right, they're giving me a bunch of cards to pull. I don't usually pull this many. All right, here we go. So here we go. Rose, romance in the air. So this has to do with, connections, relationships. Also, the rose is always going to be a spiritual, I want to say, related to your spirituality, your divine love, right? Like that. Okay. Also, we have the 4-leaf clover, great, good fortune, good luck. So this could be sudden good luck, like all of a sudden out of nowhere, you just get a job offer or an opportunity, or there's a little windfall of money, or there's just a kickback. That's a sudden, in Lenormand, that means like a sudden burst of something good happening, right? Okay. Then we have a fair woman. Okay. Dealings or relationship with a woman with blonde hair, gray hair, or white hair. So that could be somebody significant in your life. Here we go again. We're getting the ear, but hearing good news. And then finally, we're getting tankard, celebration, fun, enjoyment. So this to me is like, we keep hearing these same things over and over again, that this is going to be a very good a very good year for all of you in so many ways. It's going to be a year of growth, expansion. It's going to be a year, there's going to be some challenges when it comes to expanding, especially in relationship to not taking on everything, right? We want to be aware of that. And then the other thing I'm really hearing for you guys is that if you have a fluidity about how you change without having to anchor yourself into anything too quickly, it's going to be like the best approach. That's really what I'm getting. All right, guys, here's what we're going to do. Making sure you're putting your name in there. I'm so happy we're doing this. Again, I try to do this every time I go live. Also want to let you guys know a quick thing. We are going to be, I'm going to start going live on here to do my usual thing, which I used to do on TikTok, which is an opportunity. If you did want to partake and do a paid reading, you can do that. And that means that I think I'm charging like for a psychic reading, a question. I'll give you guys the thing because it's on the banner. Yeah, it's a really good pricing, I think, right? So it's a mini reading that could be one question, $30. And if you want an Akashic Records reading, it's $44. And, this is something most people know I love doing. I love reading. It's something, even if I've been teaching forever, I love being able to do. So I'm going to start doing that on Tuesdays. Okay. It's going to be in the evening for now, unless later on it might change. So it'll probably be around 4:00 my time. So stay tuned for that. If you want, here's the other thing. If that time doesn't work for you, because this is my least expensive way to get a reading with me, just to be honest, But it's all up on my page. If you are not able to be at that reading, what will happen is I will do your reading. And then after that, there'll be a timestamp with your name on it. Okay. So that's what I'm getting. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. We've had many beautiful souls here and many beautiful people hanging out, and I appreciate every single one of you. So I'm going to just ask my guides who, now listen, when I do this, I love many of you. So understand that. And if you want to make sure you guys are subscribed. I think all you guys are subscribed to my channel. Make sure you go back and look at one video and not a short in its entirety. Comment and like the video. Watch the whole thing sometime this week. That helps me a lot. And I think I'm going to do 2 short readings today. Okay. Now, you guys know I adore you. So I would do everybody if I could, but I can't. That's not how my time works. And if you're wanting to get on the list, please come back Tuesday. Okay. I'll be listing it and knowing so we can come and do this again. Okay. So I'm going to do 2 people tonight because this is what my guides told me. And again, it's nothing personal. This is all spirit led. At some point, if you hang around long enough, you're going to get read. Or else guaranteed come on Tuesday. So I'm actually going to read 2 people. I'm going to read Amy, and then I'm going to read Imani. That's what my guides told me in the very beginning, you guys. I don't, again, you all need a reading. I want to be able to be there for you, but that's who I'm going to do because that's what my guides told me this time. And then I'm sure at some point, most of you guys who are here regularly are going to get read. All right. So here we go. So Imani, are you ready? So we'll do Imani first, and then we're going to do Amy. And I love you all. And I'm sorry if I couldn't been able to do everybody, but and believe me, everybody will get a turn. You guys are so dedicated and I really appreciate it. Also, though, make sure you're definitely on my school app because I'm going to start doing probably little mini readings in there too. All right. So Imani has said she wants to focus on her spiritual gifts. Okay. And then I'll do Amy next. So I'm going to tap into the energy and see what I'm getting. So feel free to either you can write this down, of course, or just take it in or put it on your phone. You can record me while I'm doing this on the phone. All right. So what does Imani need to know about her spiritual gifts? So the first thing I'm really getting, I'm going to tell you, I don't know if I may need cards. I'm hearing something about your boundaries. And there's an interesting energy with your boundaries. Okay. The first thing is you're a person who's really good. You're very strict about boundaries. So if something's in your space or if you're having a situation that doesn't feel right, or if you feel in any way that your boundaries are in jeopardy, it's almost like you start to turn things way down and then you step away. Okay. What I want you to think about is that it's good to have boundaries. We really need them. But one thing that's happening in your energy is you're closing off a little too much. And so it's doing something, first of all, to I'm hearing your stomach, your intestines, and it's making you have a little bit of fear. I know, right? She's like, I've worked hard on those. It's making you have a little bit of fear around things getting into your space. So one thing I would say to you, and I'm going to give you a little bit of this interesting information because this is how my energy works. So I know a man who came to my school and spoke to my students 2 years ago, and he has created, it's a long story. He's an herbalist. He's created this tincture that is called, it's with the yarrow tree. And it's a vibrational medicine. I'll call it that. And it helps you have boundaries without having to overcompensate in your energy field. And I think this is possibly because you're very sensitive, like many of you are. And so there's something about just not having to like work quite as hard in your own chakra system in order to have your boundary. Now I'm going to literally put the link for this in the chat, and then you can decide whatever you want to do. It's really up to you. But I think it's important. They're telling me I need to tell you that. So let me just get it. Give me a second. Yarrow. Okay, let's see what we're getting when I pull that up. Give me a second. And it's very interesting. I did this, I gave this last year to one other client, only one. Um, and but I'm getting it for you. So I'm going to just see if I can find the link for it. So give me a second. Yes, it's a tincture. Sorry, it's a little bit, give me a second. Welcome to my world. Botanical allies. Let me see. Let's see if I can find it. Okay. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it here. And then if you need more information, I will definitely give it to you. But I'm going to tell you that's exactly what I'm getting. A few of you people in my community will probably know about this. And yeah. So it is an absolutely fascinating thing. It's like he's an herbalist, so he does a lot of field study, and he says that he's connected deeply with a lot of plants over the years, but specifically with the yarrow, it's like a vibrational medicine that helps you so you don't have to have as much of like an overcompensation. That's the first thing I'm hearing. Okay, so let me pull some cards now to see what else we're getting. Okay. Knight of Cups, Two of Cups. Okay, this is very interesting because of what we've been talking about. So these are both in reverse, the Two of Cups and then the Knight of Cups. So the recalibration of your energy, because you're going through your transition in your relationship, in order to reestablish your own energy in a deeper way so that you have your own, again, boundaries, which you already are working on, clarity, insight, and you're really able to work in your own energy field without having that sort of intensity of having a relationship that's ending. There is just a need to recalibrate so that you stay in your clarity. And so as you spend time observing your process, being able to, like, what you're doing now, talk about it, recount it, and then validate it, this is going to help you strengthen your psychic abilities, in particular, your clairvoyance. So it's a fascinating, level of intelligence you have, I think. And it's a matter of kind of like getting yourself centered and in a good place. So I hope that makes sense. That was a very interesting reading. Yeah, the forest medicine, definitely check him out. And he does have a place where he also, as part of his thing, is that he sells it too. So you can just look it up. It's really up to you. All right, let me just make sure. Amy, are you still here? Let me know. Thank you so much. I'm glad. Let me know if you get it. Let me know. Let me just see if Amy's here. Still. Yay. Okay. Now, Amy's wanting to know about career, right? Thank you so much, Imani. Thank you. I appreciate you being here. And again, you guys, if you want to be guaranteed a reading, please feel free to come back Tuesday. And amazing. And if you can get on the list again, those, it's a wonderful way, because I'm not doing those on TikTok right now. I used to do them on TikTok. And right now I'm on lockdown. Okay. So you're wanting to look at finances. Okay, good. All right. Let's see what we got. I'm just getting my cards kind of sorted out here. Pardon me. All right. There we go. Okay. Amy is wanting to look at finances. Here we go. What does she need to know? What does she need to hear, please? Finances. Okay. Five of Pentacles in reverse. Very nice. King of Pentacles and the Knight of... Wow. Okay. Well, so right away, with you're getting the Five of Pentacles in reverse, that's actually a very good standing when it comes to where you are with finances. Because the Five of Pentacles in the upright is like we feel on the outs, we're going through difficult time financially or with what monetarily, what we have to offer, what we have in our coffers. But you're turning that around. I think you've made a deep dedication to like really looking at, okay, what are our priorities? What do we want to invest in? What do I want to do with my career? And then how much can we afford when it comes to if I make a shift or something changes? And I want to say, I feel like you're really trying to be very expansive in how you're looking at this. You're trying to look at almost multiplying energy, which is multiplying finances, is what I'm hearing. So I feel like this is a really good change for you is what I'm hearing, and that things are going to multiply. That's what I'm getting. And you're going to be getting a lot of insight and wisdom and knowledge, which I think is going to come from just your straight intuition. That's what I'm getting. Now, this is a very interesting position. So what are you not seeing? The Knight of Wands in reverse. So part of you, I think, is a little bit concerned about making a bad choice or being rash or being impulsive or about, making a mistake. And the idea here is that that's not going to happen. Good. I'm so glad. That's not going to happen because you can really trust yourself. But some of the things you're going to do are going to be where you're going to break away from some of the things you're doing. You're going to make changes. You're going to be getting some clarity on a variety of things. And so I feel like, especially around the spring, there could be a big shift. And the outcome from your guides, loved ones, and ancestors is definitely abundance. Now, it might take a while to get there. King of Pentacles is very good with finances. He knows how to invest in things. He knows how to build things. He's patient. He's grounded. He takes his time. So you're in a really good position, I have to say. You're in a very good position to make the choices you want to make. And you can really trust yourself. That's what I'm really getting for you. So I hope that makes sense. Thank you so much for getting this reading with me. Yay. So this night was so much fun. I just want to thank you all for being here. If you did want to come back on Tuesday I'll say at 4 or 5, I'll let you guys know for sure soon. Make sure you join. Check out the mediumship class. Also, I know. I love that. I get that. I totally understand what you're saying. It's kind of like a stable but growing. You know what I mean? It's not easy. So if you did want to come back and you want to be guaranteed a reading, feel free to come back on Tuesday. Otherwise, I'm going to be pulling oracle cards. Thank you all so much. I'm so glad to see you all. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. I hope you have an incredible weekend. And I'll see you guys all soon. All right. Much love. Take care.